Hello and welcome to France 24's daily roundup on day 3 of the Africa Cup of Nations. It's been a tough day for Premier League stars Riyad Mahrez and Mohamed Salah as holders Algeria got their campaign off to an underwhelming start with a goalless draw against Sierra Leone, while Egypt were beaten 1-0 by an impressive Nigeria side. And that's why we'll be starting this evening with that Group D opener. Super Eagles soared comfortably past the Pharaohs thanks to a great half volley by Leicester City's Kelechi Iheanacho on the half-hour mark. Egypt failed to bounce back. Their goalkeeper Mohamed El Shenwi made several saves to keep them in the game, but Nigeria commanded throughout. Performance that their coach has said was long been in the making.
Egypt is not a weak side at all. It's a respected side, coached by one of the top coaches in the world, and then one of the best players in the world also in that team. So you cannot say it's a weak side. It's a very strong side. We work so hard, day in, day out, tactically, physically also, and give the boys a whole lot of confidence. Respect always your opponent, but don't be scared. Respect your opponent and play your game. Feel free to enjoy yourself.
More on that result, let's cross to our sports editor, Simon Harding, who is in Yaoundé. Simon, the Super Eagles had a rather chaotic build-up to this tournament. They were without several key players and obviously fired their manager just last month. None of that showed on the pitch, though, today.
No, not at all. A victory for the Super Eagles, an impressive victory and a deserved victory for them, Selena. They were absolutely sensational, and if anything, a 1-0 scoreline is quite a good scoreline, a flattering scoreline for Egypt, considering how poor they were in the game and how much Nigeria dominated throughout. Kelechi Iheanacho scored that goal, wonderful goal, as you mentioned, but it must be said that their wingers, Moses Simon and Samuel Chukwueze, were simply sensational throughout the match, and of course the presence of Iheanacho's teammates at Leicester City, Wilfred Ndidi in midfield, was also sensational. But what was particularly impressive for Nigeria is the way they bossed the ball, the way they did not give Egypt any time and space on the ball, any time and space to breathe. So it was a succession of attacks that were forcing Egypt to make some very uncharacteristic mistakes, giving away possession very poorly. And it is true, however, that Nigeria will have to be wary of getting that final product, of being just that little bit more clinical, because they won, but it should have been a much bigger victory. And against perhaps teams that will challenge them a little bit more as the competition goes forwards, they are going to have to put those chances away when they come up in these games.
Indeed, and as you mentioned there, Simon, the Pharaohs, in contrast, were pretty lacklustre, despite having arguably the world's best player at the moment. That is, of course, Mohamed Salah. Can he carry this team alone?
Absolutely not, and that was very evident by the performance today. 16 goals in 20 Premier League appearances for Mohamed Salah this season for Liverpool, but he was too often left completely isolated by his teammates. Very poor performances by some Egyptian players who we might see actually lose their starting position in the starting 11. We can think of Trezeguet, who was absolutely shambolic, non-existent throughout the game. Zizou, his replacement, when he came on the hour mark, was much more lively, actually played the ball forwards, and that was what was missing for Egypt. They were far too conservative with the ball. It's a lot of question marks for Carlos Queiroz, who, as we heard the Nigerian head coach say, is a very well-renowned coach, but his team put in a performance that is not going to he's not going to be very pleased with. They have to find a way to be dangerous, to be creative without Mohamed Salah at the centre of all their attacking plans. The Egyptian, who did have one opportunity with 20 minutes to go in the game, but who mishit a shot and eventually he didn't score. So Mohamed Salah, who hasn't actually scored since Carlos Queiroz has come to the helm of Egypt back in September, and who will have to do much better along with his teammates, because at the moment Egypt are bottom of Group D.
Indeed,